And here we will be giving you what you've been missing in the entertainment industry.
We will be hosting different guests, upcoming artists, as well as your favorite entertainers.
To motivate you, the youth, we will be bringing you youthful entrepreneurs who have made it in life.
Politically, you are in the right place. We will be bringing you the already established politicians. And to upcoming politicians, this is where your political career will be nurtured. Live only on LTV Kenya, the home of the best.
Indeed, LTV Kenya is home of the best.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, our fellow viewers. This is LTV Kenya. Remember, this is the home of the best. Being Monday in the month of November, where we celebrate, or rather we create awareness for epilepsy, which is one of the diseases that have always dragged Kenyan children down, more specifically the ones that are under a low category of earning, or I would say that the people that live below $1 mark. And today, remember, before we start this particular show, you can follow us on our handles at LTV Kenya on Facebook and Instagram LTV/Kenya1 and on YouTube LTV Kenya/1. And today I have with my guests. Thank you very much for honoring your invitation. You're looking nice. You're glowing. I expected a thank you from that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So today I'm having Sharon Odongo. I remember she has always been a lover of LTV Kenya, and also an activist towards the words, or maybe the actions towards the people with disability. So today Sharon Odongo is a disability activist, yes, from Migori County. And we also have Valent, right, if I'm not wrong, Valent Adiambo, who is also a CEO and founder of Bernard's Epilepsy Awareness Foundation Kenya. Thank you very much, ladies. Feel most welcome.
Thank you.
Now, just to start this particular show, let me start with you, Madam Valent. Now, what did you think of that made you start this wonderful foundation?
Thank you. When I started the foundation back in April this year,
Yes.
the reason why I started the foundation was I lost my job in April. Where I was working, I was working under a water company. But then the department, the specific department was not dealing directly with water. You know, I know people might even ask questions that I know I'm living with epilepsy, and then why do I work in a water company? So there was a problem at one point, and the problem was some people, you know, when anytime I got sick, anytime I got an attack, my boss was so understanding. So anytime I got an attack, when I went to the boss to ask for permission, maybe to go for medication, the boss would just tell me, go and have some rest. Your condition is manageable. That one is very, very much encouraging. Yes. And so when I was getting this permission from my boss, some people were feeling like I'm not working. I'm getting too much permission. Most of the time I'm not in the office, and yet I'm being paid, you know. So these people, they were some of my colleagues. Then they wrote some emails to the superior. So when they wrote an email complaining that most of the time I'm not working, I'm not in the office, I'm being given permission. Whenever I'm sick, napewa tu permission, I'm not in the office. So that person, that the superior there, she called my boss. And then when the boss went, he was interrogated, and because I think they had some issues among them too. My boss, my immediate boss, and his boss. So the boss the boss started talking about me positively, but the other boss had already formed opinion. So that's how I lost my job. But we were 4 people. 2 of us were living with disability, with epilepsy. But the other person who was living with epilepsy also, just like me, that person, he knew somebody from the county level, so that person helped him.
So
back.
there's something that I've just gotten from you, like you were also one of the people that were living with the epilepsy.
Yes,
Is
I live with epilepsy.
Still there?
Yes, it's there.
Okay.
Though I'm controlling it.
You're controlling it.
Yes.
Now, one of the points that we should understand just from you is that epilepsy is controllable.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, before you continue with your story, I asked a question that was it now after you had lost your job? Was this the time that you thought about starting a foundation?
Yes.
On that.
Yes, because I was thinking about. I really felt bad.
Yes.
I really felt bad. I felt some pain in my heart,
Okay.
and then I thought about it deeply and said, "What about me? Now, at least me, I'm learned.
Okay.
I can work anywhere. So what about other people
Yes.
who are not even going to school? What about other people? What do they feel?"
Okay.
So that one pushed me to start this foundation.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, can you just share with us, or the viewers there of LTV Kenya, how your story began? How you realized that you were suffering from epilepsy, your first encounter with the attack, and how you took it and how you behaved. What did you feel for the first time?
The first encounter, if I can remember, I think that was when I was in class 4 or 5,
Okay.
because that is when I could know something or realize something. Though my condition started back when I was 1.5 years old. My mom told me that way.
Okay.
But when you know, epilepsy comes with a lot of stigma. And so when I was in primary school, class 5,
Okay.
when I got an attack in school, you know, some people ran away from me.
True.
Some people, you could just see their faces. Some people thought I was demon possessed.
Yes.
Some fellow pupils didn't even want to play with me. You know,
Yes.
even the friends.
So you felt like you were an outcast.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is not only me only. There's everybody living with epilepsy. I think at one point in life, they've gone through the same stigma.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how was it after your first encounter? What happened?
After my first encounter, I kept on living. My mother sought for medication, and then we controlled it for around 7 years.
Okay.
Then after that, it came back when I was in high school, when I was in Form 2. And when it came back, you know, initially when I was in primary, I used to fall down and convulse. But when it came back differently. I could now get attacks when I'm asleep. Yeah. So when it came back in high school, my teachers sometimes they couldn't even understand me, especially when where there were exams. You know, epilepsy being a brain condition, everything stressing the brain, or rather straining the brain.
Yes.
Whether you are too much excited, whether you are very sad.
Yes.
So as long as the brain is straining in one way or the other,
yes,
you can get an attack.
Okay.
So that one happened, and I think the teachers should get this from us.
Okay.
When somebody living with epilepsy in school sits for an exams, or maybe when somebody is approaching exam, you know, people get a lot of stress. People get a lot of stress because they are revising, the anxiety, and so during that time, that is when people get a lot of epileptic attacks.
Yes.
And so many teachers do not understand. Actually, they will just say or think that you have a phobia for exam.
Okay, yeah, exam phobia.
Yeah.
You fear doing exams.
You fear doing
so
exam.
You're saying that you are creating this, so
Yes.
at least you can find out, so you can find a way of,
escaping the exam.
Okay.
That is not the real situation. The real situation is while that anxiety of exams, we are revising and anxious, it strains the brain. And being epilepsy being a brain condition, anything straining the brain,
Yes.
you will get an attack.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got that in high school. Though some teachers could understand me, it really stressed me up. And most of the time I was sick.
Yes.
Most of the time I was going home because I'm sick.
Yes.
And so many people thought that I was pretending. But then it really stressed me up. But after high school, now I got a counselor,
Okay.
a friend of mine, who spoke to me about it and just told me that, this has been part of you. This is part of you now.
Okay.
You can't escape it. You can't do anything to change the situation.
Yes.
You gotta accept it, move on, live with it, get medications, and go on.
Now, when you were receiving encounters one after the other in high school, what was the response from your friends in high school?
Just as I said before, in high school, people are starting to be kind of mature.
Yes.
Compared to primary. I had some few friends who could understand me perfectly well. They could even help me after I've got conversions. They could even help me wash my uniforms and all that. Though not all of them. But what happens is when you especially in class, especially in my class, you could find that not everybody would understand me. And so maybe if I get an attack in class, after I wake up, everybody will be looking at you like, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that one is also creating a lot of stigma. But then after that, after high school, I got that counselor who helped me a lot, and I accepted the condition.
So which steps did this counselor take you through?
At first, the counselor asked me if she could see my mother.
Okay.
Because she realized that this condition was really stressing me up. So when she met my mom, they spoke with my mom. I don't know whatever they talked about, but then after that, she told me, she started seeing me on a weekly basis.
Okay.
When I was, that is after Form 4. Then she could interrogate me, sometimes show me some pictures of people living with the other disabilities who are better, like if you compare,
yes, the two of you,
I'm even better off,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So after that process, it took time, but she was dedicated, and that's why I got an assistance. So after that, after a short time, I started accepting the condition.
Yes.
In fact, I realized that there are some people whose conditions are even worse than mine.
Yes.
So after that, after accepting, I could even talk about it openly. But before that, I couldn't even share with anybody about my condition. Yes.
Now, medication. Take us through medication. Did you seek for any medication after realizing that you were suffering from epilepsy? And now, because I know when let me say a surprising kind of condition hits you, and then your mind jumps all over solution because you're trying to find a appropriate solution that can end this particular thing completely. Now, Did your parent take you through any form of medication so as to curb the growth of epilepsy?
Sure. My mom, just like any other mother, let me talk about mothers now.
Okay.
Any other mother will be happy if her child is well. So, for example, you know, my mom at first, this thing when I got attacks, my mother could seek people's advice, and somebody recommend somebody, maybe a herbalist.
Yes.
I tried all those. I didn't even go. I tried the herbal way. I went to the hospitals for different medication, because you know, today somebody might tell you, I know I have a certain doctor who can do that, treat that condition. Yeah, and then being that my mother wanted me to be well, she could rush there.
Yes, of course.
So I've seen so many doctors, different doctors, that is.
Yes.
I've drunk a lot of these concoctions, and I mean,
yes.
I'm not different from other people.
Okay.
We've tried.
You've tried.
I've tried.
Now, after you were taken to the first doctor, and the condition was still there, you went to the second solution, the condition was still there. The third solution, oh my God, the condition still remained. What were you feeling?
I was feeling very tired and discouraged. Even at one point, I left taking the medicine.
You were tired?
I was very tired.
Yes.
And I was discouraged. Yeah.
So, there is something that a very good friend of mine told me is called the black circle of life. This is where when somebody reaches, when a condition pushes you towards a certain corner, you think about a lot of things. You would even think of ending your life. Did that thing ever cross your mind? That now I have walked up and down in each and every hospital, I am yet to find a solution. It's like the solutions are no more. Now the only thing that I have to do is maybe kill myself and peace once and for all.
No.
Wow.
No. Surprisingly enough,
Yes.
I didn't reach that point.
So you are a strong woman. What was this that was making you strong? Because see, a common human being would think about that. But now this makes you an extraordinary woman, being a human being, and I would echo you for that. Now, what is it that was always pushing you? That just
Two things.
Yes.
One, the tireless efforts of my mom.
Okay.
I've been brought up by a single parent.
Wow.
And that's my mother.
Wow.
So my mother she kept on trying and trying. So it could just cross my mind to end my life. Yeah.
Okay.
Two, my church people.
Wow.
I'm a Christian.
Wow.
And so that one couldn't just cross my mind. They kept on encouraging me, and then I realized that I'm not alone.
I would say that was a wonderful combination of efforts towards helping you come out of that particular scenario. Now, you walking along the streets of your community, knowing that you have got epilepsy. Now, within your community, was there any other person that was suffering from the same, or it was just you alone?
There were some people too.
There was very many or few?
Few. With epilepsy, not really, I can't really say that there were few, because with epilepsy, parents tend to hide their children.
Yeah.
So you can't really know unless you see him.
Exactly. We'll talk about that some other time. Now, how did this condition affect your day-to-day work? When you're still a kid, when you're growing, and not right now, we'll come to that, but now when you're in primary, rather in high school, or in college, how is this affecting your work? Maybe you are going for, let me say, a contest in high school, maybe you're going for a prayer in high school, maybe you're going for sports in primary. Were you comfortable? How was this affecting you?
I was not comfortable. I can really remember when I was in primary school.
Yes.
There's especially in lower primary school, there's this team of young, beautiful girls. singing and dancing. We used to call it singing game.
The cheering
I really enjoyed that thing.
Yes.
But sometimes I could just dance, practice, but when it comes to the real competition,
Yes.
my teachers could not allow me.
Yes.
Because I have epilepsy.
How were you feeling?
Very bad and hurt.
Okay.
You know, that thing, during that time, you know, in primary school, our school, we never used to plait our hair.
Okay.
But when you are dancing in that singing game group, you are allowed to plait your hair during the festival seasons and look beautiful. So and have new uniforms. But imagine practicing all this while you practicing, and then the day when people are going for the competition, you are being told you can't go simply because you are living with epilepsy. Same to high school.
Yes.
High school, I used to enjoy drama so much, but I couldn't be allowed. I couldn't be allowed because of my condition. Yes.
Now, thank you very much for that wonderful story. Let's get back to Bernard's Epilepsy Awareness Foundation, Kenya. You were giving us a story before I interrupted about you thinking about this wonderful platform after you had lost your job. Yes, what happened?
Okay, after I had lost my job,
Yes.
there's a Facebook page. There's a Kawe. I don't know whether people know Kawe. I think many people know Kawe. Kawe is the national body dealing with people living with epilepsy.
Okay.
So I was commenting on a post by Kawe, and then somebody, I didn't know that person, saw my comments, and then this person got interested in me. He started inboxing me, asking me a lot of questions. Then he told me he's in Nairobi, but his home is in Homa Bay. So he was asking me if we can come together and do something. So I asked him, well, what can we do? We don't have funds. That was what I thought of. So when he asked me that we can come together and do something, then I asked him about it. Then he brought that idea. Let's start a foundation. Let's teach people about epilepsy. I live with epilepsy. You live with epilepsy. Let's come together and teach people about epilepsy.
He was also living with epilepsy?
Yes.
Wow.
He lives with epilepsy. He got it through accident. Yeah, he got an accident.
This brings us to the mode of transmission of this. Can it be transmitted through blood?
Through blood, not very much.
How then did he get it from the accident?
Okay, from the accident, this man was just working. He was around 40-something years when he got that accident. And his brain got injured. So when you get a brain injury, at any point, whether you are an old man, whether you are young, you can get epilepsy. So that's how his condition started. Yes.
Now, after you had met.
Yes. So we didn't meet. We were just speaking on Facebook and phone. Then I saw some possibility in this idea, and me being, I'm a go-getter. So that person, my partner, he is called Bernard. Bernard is in Nairobi, and I was at home now. So we wanted it to be done in at home, in Rongo or Migori County. Then so I started telling people about this foundation. We didn't even have an office, but we were doing it. We were creating awareness. So we started talking to people, and being that Corona was just starting by that time, we couldn't get enough audience because most of the people were at home. People are not going to church. People are not going to schools, and that is those are some of the best platform to create such awareness. So what we did, I went to radio stations, different radio stations, and that's how we got some clients, the first clients. Yeah.
Now, after you had gotten this client, before this, what were some of the challenges that you were facing when growing this particular arena for advocacy of epilepsy? You've talked about you never had funds. What again were you lacking? What were the challenges that you were facing, even right now?
The biggest challenge is lack of funds. Then that is the major challenge. Then the second one, our parents, our society. There's just a weird way they are treating people living with epilepsy. For example, you can find a mother with a child living with this disability with epilepsy, and this mother just waits until the child becomes maybe an adult. That is when she can seek for attention, maybe medication, and with epilepsy, the earlier you start, the better. The earlier you start, the better. So some people, when you go to even teach them or rather talk to them, they won't open up to you and tell you, my child or my husband or my whoever has epilepsy. So many people do not want to be open to talk about it. That is another challenge. Yeah.
They're just two. Funds?
No, funds, the society, and then there are some medication. When you come to medication, people, after creating awareness, somebody will ask me, so what about that? You told me about epilepsy. So how is this going to help me? Somebody will want you to tell him or her after creating awareness. Somebody will want you to tell him or her, go to this doctor. And people love free things. Go to this doctor, he will treat you free, or he will give you free medication. And that is another challenge. Our people like free things. So they don't even want to put more efforts for their relatives who are living with epilepsy.
What was the impact of society towards you forming this foundation?
Wow, because I started with my people in the society, back at home, in my church, in my school. Everybody was positive. I mean, people were happy because with epilepsy, they be happy. They have that feeling of belonging, at least. Especially if when I tell them that I'm also living with epilepsy, and when they see me, they can't. I mean, people will ask me, "Are you sure you are also living with the same condition?"
Yes, actually.
If you are living with the same condition, then my child can go to school. My child can do that, whatever you are doing. You see, so. It's an encouragement to some people, especially when I tell them that I'm also living with the same disability.
Now, thank you. Let me usher in Sharon. You've rested a lot. Now, there is a question that goes to you. Epilepsy is a disability. There are a lot of people outside there living with disability. What are some of the challenges that these people are facing, the ones that are living with disability?
Thank you so much, Evans. People with Felix,
yes.
Sorry. People with disability are facing so many challenges out there. Because maybe if I can start with my story. so that you can also listen to part of my story.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because we have different types of disability. I didn't know that I had a disability. My disability is not acquired. It's an inborn disability.
Wow, sorry.
So in secondary, I didn't even realize that I had a disability. In primary, I didn't even know that I had a disability. So in secondary, I started questioning myself, because I could see, for instance, if people are running for lunch or people are running, just running, I would find myself remaining behind. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Is it that I'm running slowly or what?
Very heavy.
Yes, I was like, what's wrong? It started disturbing my mind.
Yes.
But again, I would consult myself, it's normal. So then people now, my classmates started mocking me.
Wow.
Now they would imitate how I walk, and you know how it hurts.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, now they would imitate. I also don't know that this is a disability, because my parent has not told me that I am disabled.
Yeah, you're disabled in a way.
Back in my family also, my brothers would imitate me, but they would genuinely do it because they also don't know. So they would be like, why are you walking like this? And then they imitate, and you can imagine how it feels. And I'm like, I just feel like I'm okay.
You're normal.
I'm normal. I'm just like any other person. So when I joined the university, now I realized, oh, I am disabled. What next? After identifying that I'm disabled, I met a friend in campus who was a staff and knew issues to do with disability.
Okay.
So he knew the benefits of what students with disability in campus level will benefit. So he advised me and told me, I see you have some difficulties in walking. Why don't you register with persons with disability? And I was like, oh, I'm interested, because it's like somebody has discovered for you something, and I accepted my status and said, now I want to go and seek assessment, medical attention, so that I can know what the problem or where the problem is. So then I discussed this with my mom. Then we went to the hospital for assessment.
Okay.
So when we went to the assessment, I had the doctor telling my mom that, oh, I wish you knew this before. This was treatable at an early stage.
Wow.
She would have not walked this way if you treated or if you realized this in prior. So I said, so it means it could be managed at an early stage. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that different type of disabilities can be managed when realized at an early stage. So I was done for assessment, and then now I acquired my disability card in campus. Now, in your story, back to your question about issues to do with challenges that we face as people with disabilities.
Yes.
We face so many challenges.
Yes, a lot of
For instance, people, we feel isolated. People just discriminate you. I don't know what they see in us. Like, maybe there is something and they'll be like, we're back in Yuma. Everything, we're back in Yuma. You are not given that opportunity.
Like equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity. They always just fit us because of a space that is created for us. They feel like, we need somebody with disability, now you have to fit because that is where you belong.
Okay.
Another challenge that we face as people with disabilities, for example, when you listen to the story of my sister, people with epilepsy, just the other day, some months back, we were giving people with disabilities some relief food from the government.
Yes.
And it happened that one of an epileptic person was amongst our group. So all of a sudden, because we had said, these government things, they take long. And I didn't know that people with epilepsy doesn't need to get that they should not go for so long without getting something to eat.
Okay.
When that happens,
That's a trigger.
that it's a trigger. It will automatically come. You see, we didn't know. But this person was amongst us. So we had kept them for some time because of the procedure. Then all of a sudden, the guy collapsed.
Wow.
and people are running, literally. And you know, these are people with disabilities also. So people feared. They feared even touching him, because there is this belief about epilepsy that when you touch a person with epilepsy, you will definitely get that.
Yes.
I want to tell our viewers that that is a myth.
Yes.
It is a myth. When you find an epileptic person has fallen down somewhere, kindly help that person.
True.
That disease will not come out from that person and then you get it directly. It's not corona. Corona is even more deadly than epileptic. True. Yeah, so this person had to be caught because he had a lot of energy and could repair, and then we had some funny how they behave, and then finally after some time he recovered and was able to get food and go home.
Yes.
I'm so sorry we didn't know that it was caused because of staying for so long without having something to eat. Yeah, so that is also a challenge that we face as people with disability.
Rejection.
Rejection.
Okay.
Another thing that we face now on ladies with disability, you find that some men are even mad. They go ahead and even rape people with disability.
So sad.
It's I don't even know, but history will really judge them. So there was a case in my constituency where a lady was raped simply because he had a mental problem. You see, people who are mentally challenged are also disabled.
True.
And now these men are taking advantage over them. They are raping them because they feel that this person is not mentally stable.
Yes, she
doesn't even, she cannot do anything, she doesn't know. And you see, I really feel if this, if men are really human, going to
general men, just the men that are doing the act. You know, when you say men, you know, you generalize everyone.
Yeah, but now,
including people like Brian Jakonyako somewhere listening, you will say that
it's true, because just a normal person, 100% normal, going to rape somebody who is mentally challenged. You see, it's sad. It's saddening.
Very sad.
Yeah, so that is also a challenge that we face as people with disabilities, because mental challenge is a disability.
True.
And people should not take advantage over the mentally challenged people. Yeah, we have people who are still hidden, ignorance. Some people are hidden, literally hidden in isolated places and isolated from the families.
Yes.
They cannot
access. The people that are hiding them are the family members.
Are the family members. And they're locked somewhere simply because they can't walk.
Okay.
They can just scroll, and so they are taken to put in some isolated place and then served as if they don't have a right to live. That is also a challenge that we face. We are trying so much to create awareness, but the family that does not accept the status of that person with a disability and keeps that person or hides such a person makes it even more worse, because we cannot access that person. We cannot even if we wanted to help such a person, we cannot. Yet we have so many organizations that are giving wheelchairs, that are helping people with disabilities at the moment. Yes. So those are some of the challenges that we face as people with disabilities.
Are there some challenges that you're facing from the religion sector?
From the religion sector?
Yes. Or maybe I would ask that from this other side.
Okay.
Now you're living with epilepsy. Do you find it easy to go to church, or maybe, yes?
Okay. For me, I find it very easy to go to church.
Okay.
Because in my church, there's nobody like believing that if I get an attack next to her or him, I transmit it to him or her. But you know, it depends with the church. Some people believes that if someone is living with epilepsy and has an attack, that person is demon possessed and should not even sit near you or even go to church. That is a demon, you know. So in some churches there is that belief, but in my church I've never seen that. They just embrace us.
The government. How is the government responding towards people with disability? Are they positive, or they're somehow neglecting some part?
Oh, honestly, I will say that maybe let me start with the body known as National Council of Persons with Disability. This is a body that deals directly with people with disabilities. They provide the cards, the disability cards. They give assistive devices. Assistive devices are things like the wheelchair, the scratches, the lotion oil for the albino. Yeah, they also give some. They also give tools of trade for people with disability who are having their businesses. Maybe you have a disability, because we always say disability is not inability. And we have people who are disabled, but they can make they are saloonists and they're doing great outside there.
True.
We have people who are disabled, but they are barbers.
Yes.
They are shaving and they're doing it perfectly. So the National Council of Persons with Disabilities gives these people, empowers these people with the barber kits, with the salon kits for those who are saloonists. Yes. Also, the body, the National Council of Persons with Disability also gives those who are going to school the bursaries. It's a special bursary, and I can say that I have benefited from the National Council. Yeah, I've been a beneficiary, and they pay almost 3/4 of what you're supposed to pay in school.
Wow.
Yes, so they pay like 90% of what your fee, even if you are deaf. You are in a special school, you are in a special vocational training. When you apply for their funds, be rest assured that you'll get. So we have gotten support from the National Council of Persons with Disabilities. Now, on the government side, let me go to the county. We haven't received, it's very unfortunate that our county has not supported people with disabilities. For a fact.
That is Migori County.
Migori County. That is for a fact. They haven't supported people with disabilities. I'm just surprised. Even in the budget, we made some budget, and now we were being told that the persons with disability have only been given 1 million for education. For what? Just imagine 1 million and the entire people with disability, the entire Migori County. You see, it's something that is saddening.
Do you have a representative, rather? Sorry. Do you have a representative who represents you? Maybe take your grievances to the Parliament, to the County Assembly.
Yeah, we have our nominated MCAs.
Is he or she working towards doing this?
We are working together with our nominated MCAs to ensure that issues of disabilities are well articulated. Yes. But the only problem that we have from the county government is implementation. They will say everything, but now when it comes to implementation, they won't. Yes. So that is how it is.
How many boards have been formed by the government to support people with disability? Are they?
We have like right now, almost all sectors are supporting people with disabilities. When you read the Constitution of Kenya, at Chapter 6 of the Article 54, it talks about disability. We have a right to access education. It talks about so many things on issues to do with disability. So we have several bodies that helps people with disability. For instance, we have the constituencies. Just as I told you, I represent persons with disability in Rongo constituency. We have benefits that people with disability can get directly from our office. And because I represent them, I always ensure that whenever even the bursaries are distributed or given or disbursed, people with disability get slightly higher than other people. We have the tenders. We also award tenders, and those that are slotted for the people with disabilities, they are always given their part. But now the only challenge that we have as people with disabilities, getting these people who are out to go and register for these tenders is a challenge. Most people with disabilities will always just tell you, we want, they want the ready-made things. So it's also a blame on our side because they are not outgoing. They don't want to go and register for the companies. So it's a little bit challenge. That makes a very small percentage to benefit, especially from the tenders. But for the bursaries, majority benefits. We have two categories of disability. We have parent disabled, but the student is not disabled. That is a disability. Because when the parent is disabled, this parent cannot look for funds for the student to go to school. For instance, if he's in, he or she is on a wheelchair, it is a challenge to educate this child. So we treat that as a disability. When the student is disabled, but the parent is normal, that is a disability. We treat that student is disabled, and we support just like the other way around, where the parent is disabled.
Yes.
Thank you.
One question before I go to you, Valent. Now, one question. I was trying to ask about the ratio at which you or people with disability and the people without disabilities are being employed. How is it, and how does this affect you as a normal human being? Maybe
yes.
you and I
Yes.
did the same course.
Yes.
And we are going for the same opportunity
Yes.
in a company.
Yes.
Between the two of us, who will get the first chance of being employed?
In real sense,
Yes.
I should get the first chance.
Okay.
But again, a corruption has
Wow.
done us
Yes.
more harm than good.
Okay.
Because even where you qualify, for instance, let me use TSC because I'm a teacher by profession.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a teacher by profession.
Okay.
I apply for a job as a person with disability. For instance, Madam Val is epileptic. You see, the teachers will have to check. They will have to say, maybe her status cannot make her teach in our school in a way. They will look at you as if you can't deliver because of your disability. Maybe you are on a wheelchair. We are not, our brain is not disabled. It is our physical body that is disabled. But when you go to an interview, they will start viewing you with a perspective that you can't deliver.
And a lot of questions now.
A lot of questions. How will she do this? What about if the attack comes and he or she can't walk? You see? So we are isolated based on our disability.
Yes.
Despite the fact that we can deliver. Our brain is not disabled.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. Back to you, Valent. You can see you smiling. There's something that is really cooking in your brain. Wonderful. Now, let me take you back to your first story about after you losing your job. How was life?
Very tough.
Okay, tell us something about that.
Very, very tough. Because first it was abrupt. They only gave me a 1 month notice. Actually, I came. I took a 10 days leave because I was sick and I had to go for medication.
Okay.
So when the 10 days were over, when I went back to the office, I got a letter that I only remained with 1 month.
Okay.
It was a very, very big challenge.
Okay.
Because, first of all, I was stressed up. Epilepsy and stress, they are not friends.
Cannot match, okay.
They are not friends. So after that, I just, nowadays, I have this thing in me that after all, if there are some situations in life that I can't manage, like I can't do anything about. For example, at that point, I lost my job. I talked to my boss. My boss couldn't do anything about it. So I just decided to accept it. But it was not easy. It was not easy because even after that, I didn't even get my salary for that month. The last month. It took me a long time to follow up with those guys.
Okay.
So it was not easy.
Now, after you are out of the company working, you see, from somebody who has got responsibilities of going to work and then back to someone who wakes up each and every morning, maybe prepare breakfast, of which I doubt whether you were getting now because you had lost your job. Now, how was this impacting your thinking, your way of life? How was it?
Once somebody living with this with epilepsy specifically, sorry, somebody living with epilepsy should not even overthink.
Okay.
Because once you do that, you are stressing your brain,
Okay.
and you can get attacks.
Okay.
I used to overthink. I was like, why me? Because it's only me, a person living with disability. And these people are doing this to me because of a condition that I can't even manage.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
in fact, I used to use some phrase that I didn't apply
Yes, for you to
for me
get
to
that
be
condition.
epileptic.
Wow.
But then I just have to live with it. I just accept
Wow.
because the more I think, the more I overthink,
Okay.
the more I get attacks.
Thank you very much for that wonderful story. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just finished the first step of this wonderful topic. Remember, the show is Your Health, and this is LTV Kenya. You can follow us on our Facebook platforms, that is on our Facebook rather, LTV Kenya, and our Instagram LTV/Kenya1, and on YouTube LTV Kenya/1. Remember, you can view and then you can subscribe and continue getting more information about this. This is LTV Kenya, home of the best. We are coming back after a very short commercial break. Thank you.
And here we will be giving you what you've been missing in the entertainment industry.
We will be hosting different guests, upcoming artists, as well as your favorite entertainers.
To motivate you, the youth, we will be bringing you youthful entrepreneurs who have made it in life.
Politically, you are in the right place. We will be bringing you the already established politicians. And to upcoming politicians, this is where your political career will be nurtured. Live only on LTV Kenya, the home of the best.
Indeed, LTV Kenya is home of the best.
Well, thank you very much. I hope that you are enjoying this wonderful show. Remember, this is LTV Kenya, home of the best. Send your messages to our Facebook page, that is LTV Kenya, Instagram LTV/Kenya1, and YouTube LTV Kenya1. This is a topic that touches a lot on people's life regarding health sector. Thank you very much again for staying with us here. We were talking about epilepsy before we went for the break. We were talking about how life was after you losing your job. And now that you found this particular person who was ready to partner with you so that you formed this wonderful platform to help other people, what did you feel?
I felt encouraged. I felt good, and I had this feeling and encouragement in me that I am not alone.
Okay.
You know, that person told me that he got the condition when he was an adult.
Okay.
And, well, if I compare that with my case, I got the condition while I was still a child, 1.5 years old.
Yes. So
But the fact remains that both of us are living with epilepsy. Yeah, so I was like, I'm not alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've talked about you getting this condition when you were 1.5 years old. I don't know whether you would ask your parent, or rather the person that brought this sad news to you, about, because you've said that this is a brain condition. What causes epilepsy?
There are so many causes of epilepsy,
Okay.
but most of the causes is childbirth complications.
Okay.
For example, in my case, my mom used to vomit a lot while she was expecting me. And you know, normally it should be like a woman should vomit for the first 3 to 4 months latest. So my mom, in her case, she vomited all the 9 months. And so when it was time to deliver, she didn't have the strength to push the baby.
Okay, okay, I get that.
I didn't have the strength. I was also tired. So that one can cause epilepsy. There is another thing we call prolonged labor. When somebody labor, when a woman is in labor for more than 24 hours,
Okay.
that one
Causes
epilepsy because the baby will be tired and it will interfere with the brain.
Okay.
Another thing is if somebody has meningitis,
Yes.
that one is a cause of epilepsy.
Okay.
Another one is when somebody gets an accident, like in my director's situation, he got an accident.
Okay.
That's why we say epilepsy does not choose. You can get it anywhere, anytime. I like using this thing that during Corona, people, the CS like to use it like, you can get it, I can get it.
Yes, yes.
So it's just same with epilepsy. You can get out of your house today when you are okay.
Okay.
Then you get an accident.
Wow.
You get a brain injury. Then you get epilepsy. So anyone can get epilepsy anytime.
Okay.
Yes.
How is it treatable, or if it is not treatable, how is it being controlled?
Epilepsy is manageable and treatable.
Okay.
Why do I say this? Well, when you discover early that your child is epileptic and start medication at an early stage, that baby, or rather that child, can be treated. But for example, in my condition, or rather in my director's situation, because he is an adult, it's not so easy to treat it. But we can just manage it. It's manageable.
Okay.
Like in my case, I'm just managing it. I can't be sure that I'll be treated fully, but I'm just managing it.
Wow.
Yes.
How do you manage it?
I manage
Are
it.
there medications that are being maybe given so that you at least it helps? Okay.
Yes.
How?
The first thing is accepting the condition.
Wow, that's one.
Expecting
that's one
accepting yourself.
Okay.
But I think that's the major one.
Okay.
Then after that, you can take the medication. Like for me, I take drugs in the morning, at night. That one helped me a lot in managing epilepsy.
Okay.
Yes.
Sharon.
Yes.
Is there anybody, a body, that is helping the people that are living with epilepsy?
Yes,
Okay.
the National Council of Persons with Disability,
The same body.
the same body, helps people with epilepsy.
Okay.
Yeah, in most cases, just like people with the albinism, they're given the lotions that they can apply on their body because of the challenges that they also face. Likewise to epilepsy.
Okay.
Yeah, so it deals directly with the National Council of Persons with Disability.
Is it a governmental organization?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this is a body that, as per your explanation, it's like an umbrella of each and every person living with disability, regardless of which kind of disability.
And I want to interrupt.
Okay.
We don't live with
Okay.
We are people with disability.
People with
When
disability.
we talk
Okay,
about
fine.
living with disability, it means the disability is living under the same roof that I'm living in.
Okay.
So it means disability is
He's sitting somewhere there and you're also there.
But
Pardon me
we
for
are
that.
there.
Okay.
Thank you.
People with disabilities.
Yes.
Now, this is a body that acts as an umbrella that covers each and every person with disability.
Yes.
Now, don't you think that if, okay, let me first ask this as a question. Has it been grouped into sections per disability?
Yes.
Okay.
Just as I told you that we have different types of disabilities.
Okay.
We have the mentally challenged.
Okay.
We have the physical, like personally I'm a
Physically challenged.
physically challenged. We have the visual impaired.
Yes.
The blind.
Yes.
We have the deaf and the dumb.
Okay.
Those are also another group of people with disability.
Okay.
So it deals with different disability. Yes, because it covers all the disabilities.
Okay.
Yes.
What are these types of disabilities? Maybe you see when somebody talks about disability and then the other person is like, what is this?
Also,
Okay.
we have the visually impaired. These people are the blind.
Okay.
Those who cannot see. We have the physically challenged, and those are the majority.
Yes.
The physically challenged are the majority.
Okay.
Because you find that somebody is on a wheelchair, somebody has got only one hand, somebody
Okay.
has got only like mine. So those ones are the physically challenged. Then we have people with mental issues. They are mentally challenged.
Okay.
That is also a type of disability. They're not 100% normal like you are.
Okay.
Yes. Then we have the deaf and the dumb. Those who cannot speak and they cannot talk.
Okay.
Those are also categorized under disability. Then now we have the albinism.
Okay.
The one we were talking about. We have seen them around. That is also a type of
Disability.
Then we have the epilepsy.
Epilepsy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's also a type of disability.
Okay.
Amongst many others.
Many. Do you think that the government has done everything that it is required to make sure that it is controlling this?
No, it has not.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have the government has not, though the government has also tried to some extent, because I remember we have a body called KIOP. KIOP is an organization that empowers majorly the school dropouts and also people with disabilities. So I'm glad that the government has brought in organizations that can help empower people with disabilities.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like I told you about the CURE. In CURE, we have a category of people who are applying for grants. So like when you are a person with disability, maybe you left or you dropped out of school in Form 4, you can apply for such funds and then you empower yourself. You do something, you do a business, you do something. Also, the government has initiated different programs for persons with disability.
Yes.
Even the tailoring.
Okay.
There are people with disability who are actually are best tailors.
Yes.
And they can do it. So they are empowered, they are given the machines.
Okay.
Yeah, that now falls under tools of trade that we are talking about.
Yes, empowerment.
Under
Okay.
the Disability Society of Kenya. They empower people with disabilities in those programs. They give the saloon kits, they give the baba kits for persons with disability. Yeah, because with disability we have different talents.
Yes, true.
Some are even best not footballers, but the paravoli, we call it.
Yes.
The paravoli.
Actually, one of the best in Kenya.
Yes.
Okay.
And those are people with different disabilities, and they play. Yeah, we
Okay.
are abled differently.
Yes.
And we always say this in a disability world, that there is nothing for us without us. So like we have almost all the opportunities as people with disabilities. Yes.
What do you think the government should keep on doing to enhance maybe a good place, or maybe laws or even issues that are dealing with disability?
The government should, one, empower people with disability
Okay.
more. Because
Okay.
you have, for instance, somebody with severe disability.
Okay.
Allow me use the word severe,
Okay.
though it doesn't sound good. Somebody that has got that extreme disability,
True.
you find that he or she can't
is down, or maybe on a wheelchair, I know we have abilities, but if we are empowered, if we are given some support, we can do marvelous things. So I feel that the cash transfer program can help people with severe disabilities, so that cash transfer program or Inua Jamii.
Yes, Inua Jamii.
Yeah, we have it for the old persons, people who are old and can no longer do work. They are given that to facilitate them or to empower them or to make them survive, because they cannot manage themselves.
Yes.
Let me give you a short story about what I'm talking about.
You allowed?
Just the other time I was in our home in the rural area.
Yes.
And then boom, somebody knocked the door. And this person was a person with disability. And now I just let him in. Now he was telling me a story about his background. He's just from one of the sub-counties in my county.
Okay.
Now this person was telling me about, he was now begging and telling me literally, we need some maize, we need some food, we need something to survive, because in my state, I cannot do anything. I can only borrow. So that is why I'm talking about the cash transfer or
Inua Jamii. Okay.
The government can really help people with severe disability in that sector, those who cannot do anything. For instance, you find that people with epilepsy, at one point, it has affected some of them, because it is something that, it is an attack that just gets them. And what about if it got you near the fireplace and you ended up, maybe you've gotten some injuries and you can no longer do anything? Those funds can actually help us support. Another thing that I will request the government to do is to give us the assistive devices. I know the National Council of Persons with Disability body is doing it, but it is not enough, because we have so many people
with disabilities. Okay.
So maybe if the government can give us the assistive devices, yes, maybe the hearing impairment for the deaf, maybe we have the white cane for the blind, maybe the wheelchairs for those who cannot walk, and even the scratches for those who have difficulties in walking. Yeah, I think that we can really appreciate.
Nice. You're welcome. Let's get back to you, Valent. What are some of the, or where are some of the places that people with epilepsy should not be, or rather should be out of bounds?
Thank you.
Okay.
The first place is open fire. Open fire.
Okay.
Yeah, because that place is very dangerous, and that person can get an attack anywhere, anytime, and easily fall on the fire.
Okay.
Another place is on the open, maybe a river. Let me talk of a river.
Yes.
Open water, where there is a lot of water. It's very dangerous for us also to be there.
Yes.
Yeah, and generally take just a lot of precautions. Even walking alone, even crossing the road
alone. Yes, you can get that.
Get attacked anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you had talked about food, Sharon, as one of the factors that triggers the attack with people with epilepsy. Now, Valent, what are some of these things, apart from food that Sharon talked about, that triggers the attack?
Okay. Well, there are so many things, but I'll talk about malaria. Malaria is a very big trigger to epilepsy.
Okay.
Anybody living with epilepsy should try as much as possible to sleep under mosquito net.
A treated mosquito net.
Yes.
Okay.
Because malaria is one of the biggest trigger. Another thing is, although not everybody, because it happens to different people in different ways, is this bright light.
Okay.
We call them the disco light.
Okay. The ones that are playing.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a trigger.
Okay.
That's a trigger. Even on the TV.
Okay.
While watching television, sometimes we have different lights where they are advertising and all that. that can be a trigger to some of us.
Okay.
Another thing is stress, generally stress. You know, most of us, when we talk about stress,
Yes.
we only think about the negative
Okay.
stress.
Okay.
But when I talk about stress in this case, I combine both negative and positive.
Positive
What do I mean
stress.
by the positive? When somebody is overjoyed, overjoyed, that one will interfere with the brain. The brain will strain, and he or she is likely to get an attack. Another thing very common, especially to us ladies, the monthly periods.
Wow.
Yeah, there's. If you are keen, maybe if you are living with somebody with the condition, a lady, you'll notice that towards her periods, if the condition is not being controlled, that person is likely to have more attacks than usual, because there are some hormones in the brain while a woman is having her periods. There's some hormones which are being released, and when those hormones have been released to the brain, the hormones will interfere with the brain, will make the brain to strain.
Okay.
Yeah, and once the brain strains, that person will have an attack, especially if that person is not on any medication. But if that person is on medication, he or she will not get an attack. For example, I like using my personal example. Before I met that doctor, I didn't even notice that towards my periods I used to get a lot of problems, a lot of attacks, that is. But the doctor told me about it and explained it this way. When you take a medication, when you are on medication, sorry. For example, this is the drug that I'm using. It acts like a wall. So the epilepsy is this side, and epilepsy is this side, and the hormones for the monthly periods that I was talking about are also on this side. So both of them try to break the wall to pass. And because the drugs are acting as the wall, they can't both of them cannot pass. But during that time, when you are on medication, you just feel as if you are almost getting an attack.
Wow.
But it doesn't come. Okay. That's what I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, coming to the end of this wonderful show, let me start from Sharon. What are some of the last words that you would tell people outside there, majorly the society, about accepting people with disability? So that at least you cover the topic that you were talked about, that you find a lot of parents, or maybe some parents, I don't know whether it's because of fear, or maybe fear of stigma, they hide their kids somewhere. So what would you tell them in a nutshell? Yes.
First,
yes,
don't hide a person with disability.
Okay.
You might be hiding a president in that house.
Wow.
You might be hiding somebody who is a destiny helper.
A very powerful word actually. You just look at the camera and say and repeat the same. That is a very, very powerful word there.
To our viewers,
Yes,
I want to tell us that don't hide that kid or that person with disability in your place. You never know who you are hiding.
Yes.
You may be hiding a president.
Wow.
You may be hiding your destiny helper in your home.
Wow.
Because most of these people are very bright and have future.
Yes.
And have bright future.
Yes.
So don't hide that person.
Okay.
Give him or her the opportunity.
Yes.
To excel in life.
Wow.
Another issue, don't abuse or intimidate people with disability. Disability is a club that anybody can join anytime, any minute.
Wow.
You are not far from it.
Okay.
I'm not far from it.
Yes.
You can also join the disability team.
Okay.
The last thing that I want to tell to any other person who is having a disability outside there, we are able differently.
Okay.
Ability, disability is not inability.
Nice.
Ability beyond disability.
Wow.
Wake up from your sleep,
Slumber.
do something. We are able differently.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Very, very powerful. Now, to Valent Adhiambo, before you give a parting shot, in a very few words, where can people find Bernard Epilepsy Awareness Foundation Kenya?
Okay. Bernard Epilepsy Awareness Foundation Kenya, if you come to Kanga,
Yes.
Kanga is in Rongo.
Yes.
If you come to Kanga Primary School,
Okay.
you'll find me there.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. In social media?
Social media, we have a Facebook page,
Okay.
Bernard Epilepsy Awareness Foundation Kenya.
Kenya.
Yes.
Nice. Just in Facebook.
Facebook only.
Thank you very
at the
much.
moment.
Now your parting shot, in a nutshell.
Wow.
Just
Sharon
give it
has
a-
talked about very powerful things.
Yes.
And I've just found myself smiling.
Thank you.
Disability is not
not
inability. And then my doctor always tells me, but people living with epilepsy are very bright. Very, very bright in different ways.
Okay.
So don't fear taking your child to school. Don't fear taking your child for medication in different hospitals. And let us always shout epilepsy.
Thank you very much. Viewers, this was wonderful, and I appreciate the fact that we had got guests like Sharon Odongo, who is a disability advocate in Migori County, and then we had Valentine Adhiambo, who is a foundation or the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Bernard's Epilepsy Foundation Kenya. Sharon spoke about words that touched my soul, and I believe that they did to you back at home right there. That disability is beyond, you're saying disability?
Ability is beyond disability.
Ability is beyond disability. And you've said that disability is not inability. And she also said something that made me want to remove my coat, that you never know who you're hiding. Back at home, think twice and make these people move from grass to grace. This is LTV Kenya. Your show was very nice, and the name is Your Health. Our Facebook page is LTV Kenya, Instagram LTV/Kenya1, and in YouTube LTV Kenya/1. Remember, I'm your host Felix Omondi. This show will be heard to you in LTV Kenya each and every Monday as from 7:45 to this particular time. Till next time, I'm your host Felix Omondi. Goodbye.